Hi everyone, welcome to Grow Roots. This is Shannon and welcome to my August 2025 front garden tour. So here we are in the middle of the absolute peak heat of the summer in North Texas, where we get extremely hot. But this year, I'll be honest, I mean, we're hitting the hundreds, no doubt, but we didn't do that until really recently. The humidity is putting us, feeling like it's 110 degrees outside this past week. And so typically my August front garden tours don't look so great. And this isn't the best the garden has looked this year, that's for sure, because the heat has taken its toll on some of these plants, and I'll show you which ones. But compared to last year, y'all, if you want to check out my August 2024 front garden tour, I'll be honest, this is looking so much better this year. And part of that is the weather, but part of that is I think I've implemented some strategies that have worked this year. I'll tell you about those. So here we go. All right, so let's start where I always do. This is my silly goose. I want to do a little shout out to my containers. I'm debating on doing an August container garden tour, y'all, because they're just on the struggle bus, really. Some of them are looking great. And honestly, these three are hanging in there and looking pretty good. So I did want to talk about these really, really quickly. This container actually is about 6 weeks old. I think it was even in last month's tour. And what used to be in there was a yarrow that got broken. And I put it in the backyard to kind of recuperate. And then I had a couple of other things in there that didn't make it. So I repotted this container completely with 4 plants that do really, really, really well in the heat, but that I've never grown before. I've never tried them before. And man, am I glad that I did that. I bought these each at Callaway's in little tiny 4-inch containers. They were like $3 or $4 a piece. We'll start with this one because I think this one's kind of my favorite. This is a type of purslane. What type is it? Because it has pink and yellow at the same time. These are not 2 different plants. This is pink and yellow flowers, or I guess red maybe, on the same plant. Let me see and I've got bees buzzing all over me. Big bloom mix. So it's supposed to be a mixture of all of these. And I've got 2 anyway, but you see the bees all over it. It's just got these absolute beautiful flowers, and it's taking off. This plant was the first plant to take off, and it's kind of going into all of the other ones. So this, Big Beauty Mix purslane is definitely a winner. The other one that is a winner out of the 4, I would say second place, is this is a purslane, or I'm sorry, a portulaca mix. I get all of them so confused. This one's called Sundial, Moss Rose, or Portulaca. And so those 2 are just filling out this entire container. You can see that the flowers are totally different. That's the purslane, that's the Portulaca. The Portulaca have kind of double flowers. But here's what they look like when they're spent, which I'm not a huge fan of. But you can clip those, deadheading all of them. But deadheading with these can be quite a chore. They're prolific bloomers, but they last like a day or 2. So you've got to deadhead every few days if you really want that done. And then I have a dew plant right here that's just not really, it's doing well, but it's not taking off, and it's not flowering super well either. And then I've got an ice plant back here, and I'm just not loving the ice plant either. But great container, purslane, portulaca, definite container winners when it's August in 100-degree heat in North Texas. And then I just want to give a shout out. This is a petunia that is still going, and I didn't think it was going to. I thought for a little while it was not going to make it. I cut it way back in, early June, mid-June. And when it came back, it was struggling, but I have been fertilizing it every 7 to 10 days. And I think that is the key. Cutting it back early summer or midsummer, and then continuing that fertilizer. That's the key to a really good petunia making it through our Texas summers. But it's doing well. I have Creeping Jenny that's doing well, and then there's white salvia planted back there that's making a comeback as well. And then this I picked up this sweet potato vine when I picked up the purslane and the other things, and so that sweet potato vine just is taking off. It definitely loves this heat. And then blanket flower, a perennial grown from seed. I've given this major cutbacks several times already because it's getting like way tall and leggy where it is, but I just cut this back last week, hoping that for this garden tour it would flush back, and it surely did. It is a rock star, y'all. I've really enjoyed growing blanket flower this year, and it is a perennial for us, and it does get this particular, I guess, variety from seed. It gets pretty leggy for me, but I find that just cutting it, like I cut this in half, you can see where I cut it, and it's just like leafing out or flowering and reblooming itself prolifically already. So, and I love the colors. They're just absolutely gorgeous and go really well with that sweet potato vine. So there's a couple containers for you. But moving on to the actual front garden bed. This year, I planted my front garden border with dwarf zinnias, and they're a mixture of like pinwheel zinnias and Zahara zinnias, just the normal ones, that inexpensive ones that I could find at Target. Look at this little bumblebee enjoying his zinnia. That zinnia in particular is a different type, a little bit more expensive. It is Profusion Double Hot Cherry from, I think, Eden Brothers. And I got terrible germination with those. I only got 2 to germinate, and I think there's 3. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3 mixing in. The rest of them are pinwheel mix and Zahara mix. So I did find the Profusion Double Hot Cherry to be an amazing zinnia when I could get it to germinate, and they are lower growing than the Zaharas and the pinwheels, which still are dwarf, and just look at them branching out and just really doing great here in the 100-degree temperatures of August. I'm not having any problems with like at this time usually I would have powdery mildew like at the bottoms of these leaves, but they're all looking absolutely beautiful. I have been deadheading them about once or twice a week, and they're growing a little bit out over the grass, but they're doing amazing. I cannot believe it. I have to share one little secret though. This border has been a trouble area for me for the past 2 years. I get like sudden plant death and I didn't know why. And I did find, I have a Vitex tree right here that I found, like when I dug this up, it was sending roots like underneath all of these plants. And so I thought, well, is the Vitex tree taking their water and nutrients? Maybe. Do I have mole tunnels? Yes, that's also a problem. And so what I did this year is each of these zinnias is actually planted in a terracotta pot. It is like, I don't know what it is, at least 7 inches, 6 or 7 inch terracotta pot. You can see it right there. And so I have, I think 12 of them, and I grew all of these from seed. And so popped those in when they got mature, just right into the ground. The terracotta nature of the pot soaks up the water from the soil perfectly and waters these plants. And so it's worked really, really well. I've had 0 plant death, none of these guys have died on me. And so it's something in the actual soil in this thing that was, whether it be the moles or the tree roots, and the terracotta pots took care of that problem. So little tip for you if you're having issues like that, like I am. And then coming into the garden, let's talk about the next row of things. So the first thing I have here, and you can barely tell, this is a limelight hydrangea. It's not doing well. It's trained to be a standard, and that was me training it so it's not like perfect or upright. It did really well here in this location last year. It's planted in a terracotta pot too. You just can barely see it. It did really, really well here last summer in this location. It is full sun, but just barely full sun. It's probably 6 hours of sun, and that's about it. It's just now getting some sun, and then it's going to get covered up in about an hour. And then from 11 o'clock to about 4 o'clock, it has sun, but you can see it is just frying. And so I've tried an umbrella to help that, like for that midday sun, to just kind of alleviate that for it, and it just continues to burn for me. Like, this is a new crispy leaf, I think, even just from yesterday. My phone is not focusing on this. I'm so sorry, y'all. But anyway, I have decided after this garden tour, I wanted to talk to you about it. I wanted to let you know what's happening, but I'm going, because it's in a pot and that is purposeful, me and my husband are going to move this pot into my backyard where it can be in mostly shade for the rest of the growing season, so that hopefully it will survive. I mean, it does have like a couple of good prospect branches here. See, this one is a fairly new branch that was newer growth, but you could tell it's just really struggling. And then I have another new branch over there. So at this point, we're just in survival mode. I'm going to move it to the shade, make sure it stays watered, and hope for the best. But we here in North Texas absolutely struggle with panicle hydrangeas this way. I love them, love them, love them. I have quite a few limelights actually, and I have a little lime hydrangea as well. I bought a couple new, I have 2 new firelight tidbits that's going to go in a new bed. But they say full sun. It does not mean North Texas full sun. I think the reason that it struggled this year is that this year it had so many more branches than any other year it was being trained. And so all in this spot too. And then so all of the years it only had, first it had 4 branches that I allowed. And then the next year it had about 8 branches that I allowed. And then last year, it had about 12 branches. This year I was like, oh, it's established enough that I can just let it grow all of the branches that it wants and it'll be fine. And it finally had this tree shape, and then it struggled because it's a lot of plant to take care of with one trunk and in a full sun. So tree form hydrangeas are probably not going to do okay in full sun, but I've learned, and now I'm going to move it. The only thing I worry about is everything planted under here. Oh, it's so beautiful and doing so well. I have dichondra growing that's like moved all over the place and mixing in. I have cascading Cora vinca, and then I have blue scavola, and they have just completely filled in together, grown together. You can't tell like where one plant was planted, like they're just all over the place, right? And it's absolutely beautiful. So I love the underplanting, and they are full sun underplants as well. They'll get a little bit of sun where I put it, but not much. And honestly, they're annuals. Like, the main concern for me is to try to save the plant that's going to come back next year, right? And so if they die because they're in the shade, then so be it. Although vinca is known for doing okay in the shade, and I think dichondra as well. The scavola won't like it, I don't think. I've actually not grown scavola before, but I know it loves the sun. So I don't think it will appreciate being in the shade. We'll just see. But that will be leaving. The other things I can talk about over here, growing in and alongside and around the limelight hydrangea pot, is May-night Salvia. And it's reflushing right now, and I don't think it'll bloom again for me. Maybe, but it is doing quite well. If you have been following my front garden tours for some time, you know that I had a whitefly problem, and it was infesting my sunshine ligustrum. I didn't take care of it quickly enough, and it started to go into my May-night Salvia, and then also into this plant, which is Oh my goodness, Superbena Sparkling Amethyst. Oh, such a rock star. This new growth of Superbena Sparkling Amethyst is awesome, but this is the old growth of Maynight Salvia and I think Verbena together, and you can see what the whitefly had done to it. But the new growth that's coming in is looking great. I treated the Sunshine Ligustrum only with a it's actually rose and flower care 3-in-1, and it's also approved for shrubs, and that's what I had on hand, and so that's what I used. It is a granule that I put only around the base of the Sunshine Ligustrum. I do not recommend doing that anywhere near flowering plants, but these root systems were far enough back there to where I didn't think that the flowers would be affected because they are not good for pollinators. That type of pesticide can kill the pollinators, and so I only used it on the Sunshine Ligustrum to kill the whitefly that was infesting there, and that took care of my whitefly infestation on these guys for the most part, I think. So that's good. And you can see I still have lots of pollinators all over the place, so I think it's fine. But anyway, Maynight Salvia over there. I do have a Scaevola too. I forgot about that right there. And then my Sparkling Amethyst Superbena is coming back, and I love to see that as well. And then coming around here, it's just all kinds of things, I guess. I have... I think these are my state fair zinnias that I planted a plant of back there. I have white Gomphrena globosa, and then the zinnias and the Gomphrena are mixing together, which is beautiful. And then these zinnias are popping over there, and that's just lovely. I have a daylily that's no longer blooming. And then I have 2 Rudbeckia on either side. And this is what I say every single year. I grow Rudbeckia as an annual, and I can't, oh, look, Gulf fritillary butterfly on the zinnia. Look at that. They are all over my backyard this year for one particular plant. And I'll have a video about that later, but the Gulf fritillary butterflies are just loving my gardens this year, and I love that. He's so pretty. Okay. Anyway, I got distracted. Apologize. There's another one, you guys. They're just, oh, I love it. Okay, so Rudbeckia, for me, when I grow up from seed, this is what happens every year. It's, what do you think it is? Well, it's a mixture of grasshoppers eating it. I think I also have either a fungus or powdery mildew. You guys tell me. I'm not really sure, but it kills my Rudbeckia every single year. And so I've got some remnants. I just keep kind of cutting out all of the dead and, you know, letting it refresh, and it is. But I think this is the last one, and for sure it's the last for this. These are the last 2 blooms of this Rudbeckia plant, and then it's gone. The rest of it is that, as you can see. So let me know what that is and what you guys have treated it with in the past. I'm just not quite sure, but I grow them as annuals, so that's fine for me. Coming back over here, I have more Maynight Salvia down here, so that's what you see growing, just not blooming right now. I have lemon ball sedum down here that's just, oh, it's getting taken over by everything. Oh, look, there's a couple Maynight Salvia blooms I didn't see. The zinnias and everything is coming in over that lemon coral sedum. It's just, it doesn't love that. And I've tried to keep things away from it, but everything just keeps trying to creep over it. I do have way back there another zinnia and another red daylily mixing in with white and pink Gomphrena, which is so fun. And then there's that, I have pink Gomphrena globosa, and over here is like more shady area under the Vitex, and so I have a ground cover that's covering up Mr. Lambo. That's a lamb, my little garden sheep. But anyway, that ground cover is Vinca, variegated Vinca major, and it's just kind of covering the ground over there, which is what I wanted it to do, and everything looks really good. Don't mind my bird bath. I do need to clean that out and fill that up. But one little side note, Gomphrena globosa, y'all, it's just the most extraordinary plant. I love it so much. It has such a whimsy nature, especially when it's windy, and it is absolutely one of the most heat tolerant annuals that you can buy. And there's not a lot that affects it. I haven't noticed pests. Like you can see, there's no holes in the Gomphrena like there is in the Rudbeckia. There's not too much going on in the leaves of the zinnia, but no pests really like it. And like I haven't seen it get hit with powdery mildew, like no problems whatsoever with Gomphrena. So they are rock stars here in North Texas. Coming over here, again, much of the same. A zinnia that was planted back there that's trying to come in. I think that's either a cupcake zinnia or a state fair zinnia or queen lime. I don't even know at this point. I don't know what I planted anymore. That, you know, and I have a balloon flower down there. It has not done well this year. And then coming over from here out is a different microclimate. It's more shady. It's definitely shade / part shade over here. And so I have different plants planted, and that is because I have a Vitex tree and it's coming into bloom again. Let me see if you guys can see that bee. The bees are all over the blooms of the Vitex tree. It really is an awesome tree for North Texas, and it's reblooming for me, at least mine is. There's been, I think, 3 different bloom cycles. This is its 3rd bloom cycle this year. It hasn't done super amazing because I cut back about 1/3 of it. It had a branch going this way that was huge, that was just covering everything over here, and I didn't want that, so I cut it back, and it's doing fine, but it's not as vigorous as it was last year. It's trying to recuperate, I think. But coming underneath that, I have a couple of things. So I have just your normal begonia. She's doing okay. I have a dianthus back there. There are a couple dianthus blooms even in the 100-degree heat. They are rock stars here in North Texas as well. They are all season interest plants. They survive our winters. And so they're kind of evergreen too in the winter. And then they're some of the first things to bloom in the spring for me. Right here is one of my favorite plants that I grew from seed this year. Although this one, I'm looking at it, it actually does have something. It's struggling a little bit if you look down there. But this part of the plant's doing good. This is called Aeratumlita, and it's these really, really cute purple blooms. I have quite a few of these. They germinated so well and grew so well that I have quite a few of them growing in all kinds of different locations. This shady location is not its favorite. I'll show you a different location in just a moment where it's thriving. But it can do part shade to full sun, and I even have it in a full shade situation in my backyard. And what's funny about that is it's surviving. It's very small, and the blooms are white on it. I guess this purple bloom is put on by the sun, and so that's pretty interesting, but it'll grow in almost any condition. It is an annual. It won't make it our winter, but super fun to grow. And then I have Dusty Miller kind of dotted all throughout this, and I'm thinking about cutting back. This is where I don't like the look of Dusty Miller. I don't like it when it gets leggy like this. I like it to be low growing, and so I do prune it back, and I have pruned some of these back, if you can see right there, but I'm just not loving it. So we might take that out. But coming over here, I have a Juga as a ground cover. This is Burgundy Glow Ajuga, and I have a Coral Bell that is on the border of getting fried, and then more Burgundy Glow Ajuga. And then, my favorite, I have an Endless Summer Hydrangea, and she is huge, approaching 5 feet tall. Well, no, I'm sorry. It's approaching about 4 feet tall, 4 feet wide, minimally, but doing very, very well. And true to its Endless Summer name, is just continuing to put on blooms for me. I have another bloom coming up right there. So just a great plant. She just loves this spot underneath the Vitex tree. Gets a little bit of dappled sun all throughout the day, really. Even some afternoon sun. And these are some of the original blooms that I'm allowing to age. That part is a little bit fried, but this one isn't. And so this will turn a beautiful magenta color by November and December. So here's another, I think, bloom that's gonna start. It's just such a rock star. Such an amazing plant. And here's a fairly recent bloom. Probably my favorite plant, other than my other one that's on my porch. And then let me just show you this. So this area, because I cut off this part of the Vitex tree, these blooms are getting more sun than they should, and so they are frying. And I'll just let those go. Right now they're shading the rest of the plant, so I'm not going to prune those off, but I'm just letting you know what happens when they do get too much sun. That's what you're going to see. Those blooms are going to fry. And I also have, this is either a bacterial or fungal spot, or I don't think it's, yeah, that's probably a bacterial fungal thing going on this side that I just now am noticing. So we'll see if we can treat that. But there's the front garden bed as you see it here. And obviously I talked about it a little bit, but I do have a Hedge of Sunshine ligustrum. It's bouncing back amazingly from that whitefly infestation and just doing really, really well. And then coming over here, this is just a little area, a little square that has also like a little tiny rectangular planting bed that a lot of these houses in North Texas have, but I love it. So this planted right here is a 3-ball topiary, and it is a Carolina Sapphire Cypress. And it's kind of hard. Let me see if I can get a shady spot, a good view for you guys, but it's just the most beautiful color, honestly. And then in a container, because these guys can get huge if not in a container, and it's just doing beautifully. And then planted underneath it, I have some Liriope that you can barely see anymore. And then I had some zinnias. I believe these are supposed to be the pinwheel zinnias that survived. I don't even remember anymore. These also could be a Chippendale. This actually might be my Chippendale zinnia. I planted a couple of zinnias just in some bare spaces, and then they've just completely filled in this spot for sure. Here's one of them too. So cute. But here's the other Aeratumlita that I was telling you about. And let me fight my shadow here. This one is just gorgeous. Prolific bloomer. I do like to go in and deadhead a lot of these. Like you see these dead ones right there. I just go ahead and snip these off a couple times a week, and it just comes right back with these beautiful bluish purple blooms. And it can take the heat. There's no sun scorch whatsoever with this guy. And I don't know about full sun, but this guy is mostly like, this is probably 5 hours of sun, so a good amount, and it loves that. So 4 to 6 hours of sun a day, and this Aeratumlita is a rock star. And I also have baby gem boxwoods that are all planted up over here, doing pretty good. And then look at this. One of my cascading Cora vincas must have reseeded itself, because I have a vinca growing in between these two boxwoods, and she's beautiful. I just love that. That's so fun. All right, so our grass is doing amazing. It is Palisades zoysia. I do not take care of our grass. My husband does. He does an amazing job, y'all. And he just got done mowing it. I actually had to wait for him to get done to do my garden tour. That's how we go on Saturday mornings. I want to point one thing out. 2 weeks ago, we had two huge, maybe 3 weeks ago, two huge burn patches, rectangular burn patches right here that you can't even see anymore. But we were building a shed, and my husband put the doors of the shed down, and obviously those were the last to get installed. So they were on our grass for about 5 or 6 hours on a Sunday, or I'm sorry, that was a Saturday, in the burning heat, and it literally burned the grass. So we had two huge rectangular burn patches. If I have a picture, I'll pop that on the screen for you. But it grew in and you can't even see. Like, this was just 2 to 3 weeks ago, y'all. I did put some compost on the burn patches, and then of course it was getting regular water, and sure enough, it's gone. So can't even tell anymore. It's so cool how grass bounces back that way. But Palisade zoysia is a great grass, and we love ours. All right, so the curbside containers, I consider these definitely a part of my garden. And look, oh, what a picture this is. And this is exactly what I had envisioned for this container. And I am telling you, if I count the bees on this plant right now, I'd probably count 50. I'm not kidding you. The bees are everywhere. Can you see them just all over the place? So this is Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia. And Mystic Blue Spire's Salvia is considered an annual salvia, I think, but it does survive down to, I think, zone 8. And so this was actually overwintered in this container. I had some issues growing it back initially, and so I think I'm going to grow it as an annual from here on out. I'm going to take this out so that I can fill this container with some winter pansies and some, I think, some fun bulbs, spring bulbs. But anyway, if I had to pick one plant that was the absolute #1 bee attractor, I would absolutely say it's Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia. I don't even think my camera is capturing the amount of bees that are fluttering around right now, and they don't care that I'm here. They're just getting their breakfast and having a feast, and I just love that so much. So much. I know a lot of you say, I don't want bees buzzing around people, and it is right next to a sidewalk, but I'm telling you, they've never ever stung. And I come in and I fertilize this every 7 to 10 days, and they get a little bit mad at me when I get too close, but I've never been stung. They really just want their nectar, y'all. But it's underplanted, and oh, it's just such an awesome thing. I mean, I didn't need an underplanting, but it wasn't this big to start the season. It was very small, and then now obviously it's huge, but it's underplanted with cascading Cora vinca in white and dark pink, and they have done really, really well. And this is just exactly the picture that I wanted for this container. It's absolutely gorgeous and shaped so beautifully, honestly. But the back side actually has Superbena Sparkling Amethyst. And, oh, see, now I'm getting a little close. Can you see those guys? My gosh. If I get too close to this Superbena, the bees will dive bomb me. So I'm just going to do a zoom in. But these guys did struggle, and so I cut these guys back last week as well. And they're just now reflushing. So I don't have any blooms, but they were struggling, and that's why I cut those back to kind of take care of the stress on the plant. But I have the same thing going over here on this one as well. Again, Superbena Sparkling Amethyst is on this side. I cut it way back a week ago. So I'm seeing buds forming, but I'm not seeing any new blooms on that. But same thing, same story. Look, 2 bees on the same flower there. I don't feel like this Mystic Spires is as full as the other one, but still, that means that the vinca kind of takes off, and so does the Superbena. I have Superbena like coming in this way as well and intermixing with the vinca, and so I'll have blooms on those, the Superbena here pretty soon. That will make it look even better. But you're talking about a huge pollinator plant. Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia is it. It's just such a rock star. Probably one of my favorite annuals, top 5, hands down, for sure. Love it. And so there you go. That is my 2025 August garden tour. I'm actually really excited about how the garden looks in August, in the dead heat of summer. This is the best I think it's ever looked in August, and part of that is that we've had better weather this year, and part of that is, I think, like I said at the beginning, I think part of that is some tips and tricks that I've implemented to try and get this garden bed looking great all season long. And so I just want to thank each and every one of you for watching. You guys mean the world to me. Those of you who comment consistently and are watching consistently, oh my gosh, thank you from the bottom of my heart. But if this is your first time and you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment down below, let me know that you're here and you're watching, and I hope all of you have a fabulous day, everyone. Bye-bye.